A few moments later.
What happens when great intelligence meets unstoppable power? A new universe of possibilities is born, boosted by a customized processor that's the galaxy's most powerful ever.
After all the criticism by the fans, which was highlighted by the chairman of the board at Samsung, is this the best Samsung could come up with? Let's find out as we explore the 10 features we expected with the Galaxy S25 lineup. Welcome to Zenchaos Pro. The One UI 7 is Samsung's best OS till date. It's really amazing what Samsung did with the One UI 7. Although a lot of people say it takes a lot of features or feel from the iOS, but I would say it's probably a good thing to do. You can see the refined aesthetics, new icons. The entire experience is so improved and enhanced. You know, a lot of thought had gone into designing this. You have a lot of customization. The security also is great. But one feature that I pretty like is not all the features that you have seen so far. It's something called this photo ambient. The photo ambient is a pretty great wallpaper feature. On the left, you can see the original picture. On the right, you can see what it looks like when it snows. And just as the weather changes, the image also changes as well. You get 7 years of OS update. Wow, that is a great deal. And in terms of our expectation, that is a 10 over 10. Samsung probably made the greatest noise about the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy chip. It's a pretty powerful chipset. Looking at all the benchmark, the fact that it's a 3nm architecture and all that makes it stand out from other chipsets within the series. Checking the benchmark, you see that the chipset actually for the first time beats Apple's chipset on basically all benchmarks, which is probably the first time Android is doing that, which is pretty great. It's nice to see a great phone being powered by a greater chipset. In my perspective, I think this is a great time to be using the Samsung Galaxy S series as well. Expectations met. First of all, I would say the Galaxy S25 lineup are not cheap phones. However, being priced at the same as last year's flagship is a pretty big deal. Considering economical value and all that, it's great to see that Samsung still withheld the price of last year's offering. And this year Samsung had a lot of pretty deals. You have the promotional deal when you're trading, you have a couple of other vouchers and discounts as well. But Samsung's promotional trading is still running to the end of Valentine, which is great. So if you're trying to trade in an older phone for the S25, you still have an opportunity. You can check on my video to see how to go about that. I made a video about that earlier. You also get a couple of discounts. I think 50% on Samsung Care, 30% on the watch, the buds, and a couple of other things as well. I think in terms of the deals, Samsung has really done a great job. So in terms of the price of the Samsung Galaxy S25 lineup, my expectation has been met. 8 over 10. The S25 lineup are premium looking phones in every way. You have pretty much a great build. You have the Corning Gorilla Armor 2 glass, which is stronger than the flagship last year. You have some changes to the design, which is an impressive upgrade. I do have a lot of concerns with the grip. It feels like the titanium body could easily slip off your palm. But then the anti-glare displays a really welcome advantage. You can see the difference between the S23 and the S25. Yes, some expectations are met. 7 over 10. The S25 lineup has pretty much good speakers, especially on the S25 Ultra. Speakers are so loud and they're very crisp, very clear sound. They're pretty much great. Thanks to One UI, you have a couple of features where you can have your sounds play on different devices. You can also have your sounds playing while you're recording as well, which I think is a welcome advantage. That's something that you would definitely need to have a third-party app to do, but now you can do that directly on your phone. The S25 lineup are great, but would like to talk about the audio eraser. But first of all, now you can also add soundtrack to your videos, which is also pretty great. The audio eraser, I don't know if that's going to come to the other phones, but it's a really great tool where you can remove noise, you can remove everything in the audio and just have the exact audio you want recorded in the video. This is a really great tool, and I think the entire audio experience of the S25 is a 10 over 10. And if you're enjoying our video so far, a sub to the channel will be ultra exciting. The S25 lineup, especially the S25 Ultra, boasts a refined design. Although a lot of people say it's not what was expected, but I think I actually really like the build. It looks really good. You have thinner bezels, which is great. The only reason why I'm not so happy about this is the downgrade of the S Pen, not meeting expectations. The S25 lineup comes with a 45-watt wire charging that charges from 0 to 65% in 30 minutes, as well as a 15-watt wireless charging. These are below industry standards. Even though we have the reverse charging, it's still below our expectations. 4 over 10. One of the greatest things about Samsung phones are their displays. We know there are other companies that actually use Samsung displays because they are pretty good. On the S25 series, we have a great display, which is a 120 Hz display. We have a peak brightness of 2600 nits. We have the Corning Gorilla Glass Armor 2, which is pretty strong, and the anti-glare display. In terms of the display, I think Samsung met all our expectations. 10 over 10. One of the great disappointments of the S25 Ultra is the battery. It's a 5000 mAh, which is probably the same as last year and the previous year and the year before that as well. Although we have 24 hours of medium use, we have a better cooling system. This expectation has not been met. 3 over 10. I'm sure the biggest feature everyone was looking out for in the S25 lineup is the camera. That's probably the feature people use the most. Camera is pretty good, almost the same as last year, but there's a significant change to the ultra wide, which is now a 50 megapixel. That's a very welcome development in terms of the camera specification. I took a couple of shots with both the back camera and the front facing one as well. The pictures look more natural than those of the S24 and the S23. I think that is pretty great. The camera specifications are basically still almost the same. You have the 200 megapixel major shooter, you have the 50 megapixel telephoto, you have the 10 megapixel 3x optical zoom, and then you have the all new 50 megapixel ultra wide, which is the only thing changing at the back of the phone. In terms of the front of the phone, there's a disappointing 12 megapixel, which has been the same over the past 4 generations. We expect that Samsung will have maybe done a better job of maybe increasing the megapixel for that. So expectations definitely not met. 4 over 10. And very disappointing as well. Although Samsung seemed not to have met most of my expectations, the S25 Ultra and the S25 series are great phones. They're probably the best Android phones on the market right now. Well, if you're excluding the cameras of the likes of the Vivo and the software on the likes of the Pixel, which is directly from Google, Samsung is the best of having collaborated efforts across the board. We know the S24 was like the best phone for most YouTubers and most awards in the previous year. So I understand why Samsung probably will not want to change the design or change some of the things that made the S24 unique. Let me know in the comments below what your expectations were and how well Samsung met those expectations of yours. Thank you so much for watching our video. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, and see you on the next video. Bye.